Okay, my name is Nerissa Fields. I'm a yoga teacher. Been a yoga teacher for many years. Well, my history is actually, I think if I go back a bit, is that I lived in California for a year in my late 20s, and I did a course on Buddhism at Stanford University, in fact. And so whilst I was there, I got into Zen Buddhism. So I used to go to a Zendu on a regular basis, and I also got into yoga in a big way at the same time. And then when I came back to England, I trained to be a nurse in mental health and learning disabilities, and trained to be a yoga teacher at the same time. So I continued with the yoga. I didn't not continue with the Buddhism. It was like it was part of my life. But I didn't look into a Zendu in Leicester. It was enough just to be doing what I was doing. I was also very active in the peace movement as well when I came back. And then a few years after that, I had lots of children, and that took over my life. So I was still doing my yoga, and still Buddhism was a part of my life. And then about 20 years ago, I did a course with the Prison Phoenix Trust, which was for yoga teachers, to take yoga and meditation into prisons. And once I did that course, the Prison Phoenix Trust, the PPT, were really keen that meditation was integral to your life on a daily basis. And so I have been practicing meditation every day now for 20 years. So when I came, apart from Sundays, I don't do yoga or meditation on Sundays, so it's actually only 6 days a week. So when I came to the Sangha, and I really hadn't had an opportunity to come for many years because of all my children. I've got 3. I know 3 might not be a lot, it just feels like 9 at times. I had 1 son, and then I had twins, so I had 3 children under the age of 3. So I came to the Sangha for the meditation really, and to get back into Buddhism. And then I found how wonderful it was here. It wasn't just the meditation, it was all these brilliant people like yourself and Tom, who's doing the video. I think I have to see yoga and Buddhism together. I can't see them separately. And it fits in really, really well. My brief in life from a yoga point of view is to make yoga accessible to everybody, regardless of their age or their gender or their religion. And then where Buddhism is concerned, which is a religion, but it's also a way of life, I like to see it accessible to everybody as well. I'd also like to see mindfulness, which is very much a buzzword these days, accessible to everybody in terms of it's very expensive to do a mindfulness course if you don't come to the Sangha. I think I'd like to start running days called Mindfulness Made Easy.
Well, that sounds interesting. And when you came into our introductory course, what brought you into the introductory course? Was it just that we happened to be there, or was it something else that brought you here?
Well, I was at the Green Festival, and I was working on the Amnesty stall, and which I was running, in fact, and the Sangha had a stall as well, and I thought, right, my son goes to university in the autumn, I'm going to go to the introductory course, and that's what I did, and never looked back.
I must say it's been wonderful having you in the Sangha, Nerissa. You have been, you've, right from the word go, you was teaching, I think you was teaching yoga in our first introductory course that you came to, which was hitting the ground running, I think. So what's it like being a mother, in this century, as a practitioner as well? How does that all sit together?
I think it sat together very well. I mean, I was an older mother. I'm an older mother, which I think was easier for me. I couldn't have had children in my 20s, but having them in my 30s, I think I was ready. I feel as if my children were brought up in a yoga home, basically. You know, I taught children for 7 years when my children were young. They can all do yoga. They're far more chilled than I am. And I think it's been a good basis for their life. And I think, you know, the Buddhism was just an underlying ethos and just, you know, an approach. And so though none of them are Buddhists, they're open to everything.
Did you ever expect that they would become Buddhist or yoga teachers or something like that, or was that never something that crossed your mind?
I always brought up my children that they could make choices, and that is the key thing. And one thing that I'm pleased about is they all know how to work with their breath. One of my sons does meditate from time to time. One of my other sons practices yoga every so often. They all like to keep fit and healthy, and I think that is all part of the practice, really. From Monday to Saturday, I practice meditation and yoga every day, and I go for the quality rather than the quantity. So it's probably, if I'm realistic, about 15 to 20 minutes meditation and 10 to 15 minutes yoga. Sometimes it might be a little less, and I've done that all the way through, even though I've had my children. I just, you know, you just work around it. And I'm a morning person, so I do things first thing in the morning. But what I feel is that when you practice yoga and meditation, either one of them or both, on a regular basis, it has a cumulative effect that spreads into the rest of your life. So it becomes part of your life. It doesn't mean you don't shout at those you love. It just means you might shout a little less often and a little less loudly.
Ever since I've known you, you've had you've got a strong discipline. Getting going with a discipline and getting a regular practice can take ages for some people. Or you know, what would you say to them about that?
Well, to be honest, I would say that even if you don't feel like it, you need to do it. I mean, I don't always feel like, you know, doing either my yoga or sitting to meditate, but I do it. And then it's like, you know, I brush my teeth every day. And I think when you integrate it into your everyday life, even if you don't feel like doing it, it becomes a part of it, and you feel you can't carry on your day without your practice. And then often, even if you don't feel like sitting to meditate, once you're there, you think, oh, it's all right now. I just didn't feel in the mood. So I suppose I'm a bit hard line on that. I'm not actually one to say, you know, if you don't feel like it, don't bother.
So it's someone to say, well, why do you do it? You know, what is, you know, the point?
I think it's about this whole approach to life and about making choices on how you want to live your life. It's like having time to smell the roses. We need to make time just to sit and be, and then this will enhance the quality of our life, because life is very, very busy. I'm from London initially. When I first came to Leicester, I realised how busy London was. When you're there, you don't know, and it's when you lead a busy life, it's only when you stop you realise, oh, this is really nice.
So it's creating space in your life so you can appreciate and live your life more fully.
I think so, yeah, absolutely.
What is Sangha for you, would you say?
I think it's a very supportive, warm group, and that was a total plus. That wasn't something I was looking for at all. I was just looking, you know, I wanted to get back into Buddhism and learning everything I had forgotten about the theory, and, you know, meditating with others. And then to find this really warm Sangha group, it was just, you know, really the icing on the cake.
Have you found what you're looking for, would you say, and that you're just going to do more of the same? Or is there something that you want to, do you think in terms of achieving anything with your life other than what you've already achieved?
Oh, that's a good question, isn't it? That is a really good question. I think, well, to be honest, I never ever wanted to go upwards. I always wanted to go outwards. And I still want to do that with Buddhism and yoga. I just want to grow outwards and just keep growing, keep expanding. I think I'm going to become a mitra next week, so that's brilliant.
Yes.
I very much doubt I will ever ask to be ordained, because mitra's fine for me, absolutely fine. I'm going to have to find time to do extra mitra studies, but I just want to keep growing and expanding. And my brief really these days is to live every day with humility and compassion. I hope that doesn't sound too much, but I do really believe if, the world would be a better place if everybody had those two qualities. So I strive, we want to be non-striving. I work towards those.
Well, thank you, Nerissa. That is a brilliant note on which to end. So thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate it.
And thank you.
Brilliant.